Hello and welcome y'all, it's Dimz, and welcome back to the monthly progress report of the free-to-play experience of 2xKO. Now, I am going to definitely try to speed run the first part of this, just going over how my month 5 went, and we are going to talk about the elephant in the room after. So chapters are in the video, but also check the description for my spreadsheet of the detailed accumulation of my credits and my spendings. So, the big news in month 5. After the launch of 2xKO, we had the first 2xKO major at Frosting Faustings, which was a great tournament to spectate, watch, and the winner and the stories. It was a great tournament all around. But it was after that where we got the news of massive layoffs for the 2xKO team, which we're going to talk about at the end of the video. After that, about midway through the month, we had got announced that our next 2 characters is going to be Akali and Senna. And from there was just little news here and there about how 2xKO is going to actually reward people for participating in tournaments, going to their locals, and etc, etc. Now, let's talk about my goals for 2xKO this month, which was, as I said last month, kind of nothing, because I've basically completed all the goals I set out for myself while playing 2xKO as a free-to-play player. I guess the only thing I said I was going to do was try to reach the free skin in the battle pass, which was Chroma Crash Warwick, which I did do. But I am purposely not getting all the chromas or colors for Chroma Crash Warwick in the battle pass. I'm going to wait till the battle pass actually ends to see if all the alternate colors will become available to purchase for in-game credits, or will I just be locked out of them completely. Obviously, if you purchased the previous battle pass or you got up to Teemo and didn't complete the battle pass, you would probably know the answer to this, but because I don't know the answer to this, I'm just going to do it for documentation purposes. But as far as I know, for the previous battle pass, that I didn't buy, once a battle pass is gone and you did not buy it and you didn't reach that skin, you are just locked out of that skin for now. I'm not sure if it's going to rotate back into the shop in a later date or not. Now, with that said, for my 2xKO goals for March, well, it's basically nothing. You're going to see me not play the game quite a bit until Akali comes out, because she's supposed to come out sometime in March, because I don't really have a big reason to play right now. Now, with all that said and done, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the massive layoffs of 2xKO, and the speculated pre-mortem of 2xKO in general. Now, everyone on the internet in the FGC has been giving their takes on 2xKO after it was reported that they laid off about half the staff, with little to no notice. So with that, there's a lot of speculation going on, as well as some nuanced takes and not so nuanced takes. So how about I throw in my take? First, I'm going to state that it is not uncommon for teams to downsize after launching. Sometimes you don't need the same amount of manpower it took to make the game as it is to maintain and keep the game going, and that's understandable. But losing half of the team, that's a bit drastic. So drastic, in fact, that it was probably a call from the higher ups. And the fact that it was done so soon that a lot of people were blindsided leads me to believe that this was a timed decision. And probably what triggered that decision was maybe metrics of how the game was doing at that certain point of time. But just like a lot of other people have been saying, what metrics do you have when the game just launched? What metrics was Riot looking for? Were they planning for this game to make $1 billion in 2 weeks or something? Then again, the game is missing a lot of things that could increase the return on investment that the game could produce, because this game really is it's a good fighting game, but it's just a game that only has a versus mode. I recently made a everything I dislike about 2xKO video, and it kind of goes over some things that I just dislike that a lot of fighting games in general is doing, but specifically 2xKO. And 2xKO had made the fighting game sin of only just catering to, I guess, the competitive, because it only just has a versus mode. There's not really a place where people can just, I guess, casually play or do something else other than fighting online. And that really matters when it comes to retention and, adopting new people into the fold. Because casual players and casual play is the lifeblood of all games. And if you don't have a mode or a low stakes area where people can just play the game without, feeling tension or stress or even going online, you are going to kneecap your casual audience. And when you do that, you kneecap the amount of potential players that you will retain or that would become big spenders in the game. And to tell you the truth, that's kind of the purpose of this series in general. Because when I heard 2XKO was coming out, I just thought it was pretty cool. I actually haven't really dabbled too much in Riot games, but I know friends that play League and friends that played Valorant. And they told me, all this type of stuff that Riot is kind of on, all the bad stuff. So it made me come up with the idea, and I was like, hey, why don't I play the game for 1 year? And if 1 year later I'm still enjoying it and still playing it, and I guess the game is still around, then I have the A-OK to spend money on it, like by buying skins or other microtransactions. Because looking at what was Riot Forge, this won't be the worst idea to do, because who knows all the things that could change or what would still be around in a year. And I guess that can also go for other free-to-play and early access games in general. And not for nothing, layoffs suck. But the thing is, Riot isn't some small indie company. They could have prevented all these layoffs, or I guess the just massive size of layoffs. But for some reason they did not. Especially since this announcement was the biggest press 2XKO had got compared to its launch. And you don't really want those two things going side by side. But now that leads us to speculate on what happened and what really went wrong with 2XKO. Because in my opinion, it's not the gameplay. The game feels great once you get past learning the controls, but the game does feel great and it has a solid foundation. If I were to attribute the blame to anything in particular that 2XKO failed at, I would definitely say the small roster size and the lack of doing anything else than online versus. Because nowadays, launching your fighting game with just 12 characters in a 1v1 fighter is kind of barely passable. So the fact that it's a tag fighter kind of exacerbates that point, and it is really felt. Especially with a pool of over 150 characters to actually pull from, some people just might not have a character out of the 12. And I know that would mostly affect me, because if Warwick wasn't in the starting 12, right now I don't know who I'll be playing. I probably won't be really playing the game at all, because Warwick just clicks with me. So much so that I still haven't found a secondary character to play, so I can't even play a proper team in this game yet. So that's one sticking point, and the other one is, again, sometimes you just don't want to play versus online. There's really no arcade mode, there's no story mode to tell you anything about these characters if this is your first foray into the Runeterra, and it's there's just kind of nothing else to do in this game besides just hop online and fight people. And I know it's a fighting game, but let's kind of focus in on the game part more than the fighting part. And that would definitely get you more eyes and more retention and just more people playing the game. Either way, with these two problems, one of them's easier to solve than the other. One of them's already on the track to being solved by just adding more characters. But now we just have to kind of question, how long is that going to happen? So let's look into the future of 2XKO from what we know now. Which is that 2XKO said they're going to make good on their promises for the rest of the year. So all the tournaments that they said that they would help, with the prize pool and the majors and stuff, they said they're still going to do that. And they still said that they're going to release the set of 5 characters, Caitlyn being a part of them. And we got Akali and Senna up next. But after that, we don't know. We don't know if they're going to decide that, hey, the game has enough support now, so we're going to keep it going, or they're just going to shut it all down. Then we have to think about, hey, is there a afterlife plan for the game? Is there a way for us to access the game and keep playing it offline? We just don't know. Either way, I have been having fun with the game so far, and I hope it gets better, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Regardless, I would like to thank you for tuning in to another progress report. Your view is appreciated and your feedback is welcomed. I hope that you stick around for the next one. But until then, make sure you hydrate, pace yourself, and above all else, you have a good one.